13, the Timetabling Assistant. When you open the Timetabling Assistant, a new window opens. Your first option is to either select and create a new timetable or select from an existing file to work with. If you want to select an existing one, click this box over here, and then you can select from the list over here, and then click on Start Automated Timetable. And then for each one you can edit educator exception reports, and then delete this existing timetable. But I'm going to start from scratch with a new one, so start a new timetable. You can call the timetable what you want, normally the name of your school. I'm going to call this one test, and then you need to click on the Start the Input Verification Wizard. The most important aspect of timetabling is to ensure that the timetable inputs are correct. Even an automated timetable cannot work if the timetable inputs are incorrect. So, using the following steps in sequential order to determine and check your inputs. There are at least 10 processes that need to be checked. 6 of these are compulsory before you start, and 4 of these are optional. The 4 that are optional can be carried out directly in the automated timetabling, which is the next step, and it is not compulsory to perform them here. These steps comprise a tutorial to assist schools in planning timetable inputs. Let us start with the first step. Click on the number. We'll start with number 1. It asks us to check the cycle details. The cycle details can only be checked here. They must be changed in the general information section of the program. If you need to change anything, click on Update Cycle Details, and it will then change the screen to our general school information, where we selected and set up our cycle details. I think that is component 2 of general school information. Click on Save once you've made your changes, and then click on Done. It shows us here the number of days in the cycle for both GET and FET, then the starting grade of your school and the end grade of your school. You'll be able to block out certain periods for different phases in the automated timetable, which will be the next step after we've been through this checklist. And this grid displays the maximum days and periods for GET and FET. Once you're happy with all this information, click on Cycle Details Checked and Correct, then click on Done. The next one on the list is number 2, the school classes and number of periods requiring supervision. This form verifies the total number of classes in your school to be included on the timetable. So for grade 8 we have 8B, 8H, K, P, S and T. Same for grade 9. If there's any FET, none for this specific school. If you're happy that all the classes are accounted for, then click View Class Details Checked and Correct. Click on Done. Next is Check Educator Details. Are all the details correct? There are currently 33 educators. Once you are happy with that, you can click on Check. Click on Done. Then we need to check the subject details. So for each subject we need to make sure that the name is correct, and then we need, for each one, we need to edit it and then add in the unique timetable key that we'll use. So for example, that will be my unique timetable key for accounting grade 10. So once you've added your unique reference to each one, you click on done, and then you continue to add for every subject that is taught at your school. Once you are finished, you say subjects checked and correct, click on done, then educator learner ratio. This section checks your provincial educator to learner ratio. Enter the ratio in line 3 and then click on verify educator ratio. So the number of learners in the school, GET is 136 and FET 155. Your school is entitled to this number of educators, which is A over B. In order to calculate this C value, we need to know the provincial ratio. Then select Get Total Educators. If this number is incorrect, it will show that there is an excess of educators. How this is worked out is that the value in C minus D, the value in D. So this is incorrect. I'm going to put a more realistic value in, and then you've checked that the ratio is correct. Then the maximum number of periods requiring supervision. So the total number of classes for either GET and FET, the number of days in each cycle, the number of periods, and then it shows you the maximum number of periods at your school requiring supervision is 1,800. Then if you're happy, you click on this button, check, and then done. We have done all the compulsory steps that need to be done. You do not need to do these right now, but you can include optional inputs when creating timetable. So let's create the timetable. When you've created the timetable, it will appear under this list over here. So then we need to use this button here to use an existing timetable, then selecting hours. We then start the automated timetable. Under settings, we remember that you specified that the number of days in a cycle is 9 and the number of periods in a day is 8. That is correct. Any miscellaneous periods, we didn't create any. And then preferences. So your group naming order, do you want to start with subject, then class, you can specify others. Your help type, do you want it to look like the HTML style or old style? And then hints, if you wish to enable hints while you go throughout these processes. You can maximize to full screen when the program starts. This is just general preferences for time design, which is this creator, this aspect that we're using right now. Do you want to enable autosave, and then the number of autosaves in minutes between, and then color settings, so you can double click and then you can change for a block period, you can change it to be a darker red, and then you can select a different color for every one. Once you're happy, you can click on Save Preferences. The other tabs include master timetables, and there's a master timetable for the educator, each class, each room, each subject and then each group. And then for each educator, they get assigned periods per the subjects that they teach, and each class gets its own timetable and each specific room if you've added any. Every subject also has a specific period which it is taught in, and then when it comes to layout, it shows you the number of subjects that you have in total and the number of educators and your 25, or in this example 25 classes. The instructions at the bottom say drag and drop educators, classes, rooms and subjects onto groups as required. Remove them from the groups by dragging them or the whole group onto the trash can. Double click the group to edit it from here. The default values will be used for new groups. Click on the column title to lock the selected item when creating new groups. So let's first edit your group details. Your X per day, M per day, and the cycle standard is 7. Let's edit a group. So for new group 1, we need a class. So I'm going to say for new group 1, we're going to have class 8B, and then the subject is going to be accounting grade 10, the educator Kotze CE, and there's no specific room at the moment. You can see over here. So that's one group done. Then I'm going to create in the second group. I'm going to have class 8H, and then the subject will also be accounting, the educator SAM1, the room details. Once you've completed all the information and you've matched everything together, all the classes, subjects and educators with their rooms, then you go to your grouping. You will see that you have 2 groups, and each of these defaults, this uses the default from the previous menu and how many periods have been allocated. You can, when you select, for example on day 1, period 1, you can right click on it and then block a certain one or clear it. You can also select one and then say set group, and then for example accounting 8B, that means for day 1 period 2 you have accounting for grade 8B. If you wish to edit the next one, select this one, then right click and say set group, and then for the second one. In order to clear a cell, in order to block a cell, you need to clear it first. So you can't right click and then say block because there's already information in it. So once you've laid out your groups for every day and then every period, you can make special exclusions if you want to set a special exclusion. For example in A, marked with an X. Solve it. You can use this option to show any potential problems that may delay time design from solving your timetable. If you receive the all clear, then proceed to the Solve It tab, then proceed to groups, and then suggest that you copy the master timetable to all and re-enter manual placements. So you can check your information, and then it gives you an error saying that on the rooms page you do not have any rooms basically. So the problem is there's no rooms defined, so the timetable knows what subjects, it knows the educator, it knows which class, but it doesn't have a room to assign them all to within that period. And then to solve the problem you need to go and create rooms. From here, once everything is done, you can generate reports, either timetables or composite timetables, or very detailed ones. You can deselect and select specific things that you will need, and then you can transfer that to Excel and then continue to use and reprint. Any substitutions that need to take place on a specific day, you can fill this in on this group, sorting by the educator, and then filtering again by period group, and then transferring it to Excel. Once you've finished, you can click on File and Save, and then you can close it on the top right. And then by clicking Main Menu, you're back at the main menu for SASAMS.